That looks good with those leaves. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gaming things. I am back again today with another preview video, and today's preview video is going to be on Emberheart from Mind Clash Play, who very kindly sponsored today's video. Now, when this video goes live, the pre-order page for this game is also going to be going live, which is very exciting. So if after the video you think this sounds like it's going to be a good fit for you, make sure to check the description below, click the link, and then go and pre-order the game. As per usual with my preview videos, this is not an official how to play video, but this is going to be a general overview of how the game works to help you figure out whether or not it's going to be a good fit for you. I know I've got some other friends that are going to be doing content as well, so definitely make sure that you check in on everything so you can learn as much as you can about Emberheart. And yes, if you're wondering, is that Andrew Bosley art? It is, and it's beautiful. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the preview. In Emberheart, you play as champions competing for glory by thwarting poachers and rescuing dragons. Each round, you'll send parties of hirelings to locations across the island. Larger parties act faster, letting you claim rewards sooner. But after every raid, you must sacrifice hirelings to repair the poachers' damage. Over the game, you'll recruit unique heroes, strengthen your dragon companion, lead during garrison assaults, and rescue magnificent dragons, all fueling your path to victory. And if you keep your flame lower than your rivals, your final glory will burn even brighter. But what does any of that mean? I'm so glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at how the game works. All right, so before we get into it, please take a look at the beautifully colored board. We've got dragons everywhere. Who doesn't love that? Every player will get their own player board that does have a dragon on it, and of course with their own dragon companion. And then they're also going to have these little tracks, but what I wanted to show you about these before we get started is you can choose to play on side A, but everybody has to play side A or side B. Side B comes with special skills that are a little bit more unique to your dragon, whereas side A is what is recommended for your first time play or for beginner players. So for today's video, we are just going to be showing side A, but just know there's a little bit more depth when you flip the boards over. Emberheart is played over a series of rounds, and each round consists of 4 phases: the action phase, the reward phase, the raid phase, and the reset phase. So let's start by talking about the action phase. During the action phase, players will take turns one after another. On your turn, you must choose one of 3 options. You can either send a party to a common location, which are these ones that are numbered kind of 1 to 5. You can use a special location. We have the warehouse and the fire station, or you can take aid. The action phase will continue until the last aid token is taken, which are these 4 tokens right here, at which point play proceeds to the reward phase. But before we get to that, let's dive in a little bit deeper. Common locations are spaces on the board with the numbered slots, like I mentioned before. To send a party, you're going to stack 1 to 5 hireling tokens and then place your crest on top of it. When we start the games, we start with 10 grunts. So these are hireling tokens. Up here you can see there's a pile of a bunch of different ones as well. So you can do 1 to 5. Let's say we want to do 3. Then you're going to place your crest on top of that stack and place it in whichever one of the common locations you want to go to in that corresponding number. So I put 3 hireling tokens. I would place my stack in the number 3 space. The size of your party matters. Larger parties are going to act faster, claiming rewards earlier during the reward phase. So the more hirelings you can put out, the better. But depending, I guess, on how badly you want whatever is in the pool of cards. Hirelings represent the villagers of Emberheart and come in two categories. We have grunts, which, like I already mentioned, are these little fellas here. They're versatile but temporary. They're discarded after completing a task. And then we have experts. And for experts, let's grab some up here. We have scouts, which are the yellow tokens. We have rangers, which are the blue tokens. And then we have wardens, which are the purple tokens. They all specialize in certain common locations and return to your supply after completing their work. Now, scouts, which once again are these yellow tokens, are going to excel in the Heroes Guild, the Tavern, and the Poacher's Camp. So, Heroes Guild, Tavern, Poacher's Camp. And you'll be able to remember this because it is printed out on the board. Rangers, which once again are our blue tokens, ride dragons into battle from the garrison and secure sanctuaries in the preserve. So you have garrison here and the preserve here. Now, wardens, once again, are our purple tokens. They guard the wilds of the mountain, freeing trapped dragons, which the mountains we have right up top here. Grunts and eligible experts can be freely combined to form parties as long as they follow the restrictions of the location. Gear tokens, which are these tokens right here, and everyone's going to start with 2, can be spent to upgrade hirelings during your turn. Typically, this means promoting grunts into experts, but you can also swap experts or even revert them if needed. Dragon companions, that's our little dragon friends. Let's just show you. Here's the 3 that are out, and obviously I'm set up for a 3-player game for this example, but here's some dragon companions. You'll love to see it. They may join 1 party per round. You'll place the companion meeple on top of your crest to use its unlocked attributes, strength, senses, and speed, all of which are outlined at the bottom of your board here. So we have strength, senses, and speed. These attributes enhance placement and may even allow a companion to substitute for a hireling entirely. This is all going to depend on where these attributes are throughout the game and how you upgrade them, which of course is going to happen through various actions that you can take on the board. Like I mentioned, we also have 2 special locations. If resources are running low, you can instead use one of your 2 special locations, which provide instant rewards and do not require hirelings. So the first one we have is the warehouse. How you use this is you'll place your crest there to gain 2 gear tokens. Then we have the fire station. You'll place your crest there to gain 4 grunts, but also increase your flame by 1, which is the track up at the top. We'll talk about why you may not want to do that at some point, or maybe you do, I don't know. It's up to you, but that's what's going to happen at those locations. Special locations have no numbered slots, so multiple players can use them in the same round. The other thing that you can do, like I mentioned, is to take an aid. So instead of sending a party or using a special location, you can take one of the 4 ambassador aid tokens. Each aid will provide a unique and powerful benefit. So we have the leader, which is the red token here. Become the first player next round and recall one of your parties. We have the defender, the purple token. Discard one of the 2 raid cards in play, which are these. We'll talk about these in the raid phase, but when you know what they are, you're going to want to look at them and see which one is a little bit more helpful for you to get rid of, or maybe one that hinders other people. Play your game how you want to play it. Then we have the survivalist, which is this yellow token. Gain 1 gear token immediately, and you also get to break ties at the mountain. Then finally we have the healer, which is the teal token. Reduce your flame by 2. Each aid may only be taken once per round, and they will return during the reset phase, which, once again, we'll talk about later. When the final aid token is taken, the action phase will conclude. Play will continue until all players in turn order have had an equal number of turns. If a player has no crests left, but there are no aids available, they just skip their turn. Once that phase is over, we go into the reward phase. Now, during the reward phase, players are going to claim rewards from the common locations in the order of the spaces they occupied during the action phase. Locations are always resolved in a strict clockwise order starting at the Heroes Guild and then ending at the garrison. So we'll go Heroes Guild, Tavern, Poacher's Camp, Mountain, Preserve, and then the garrison. At each location, players act in descending order of party size, with the largest party claiming first, followed by the smaller ones. If you cannot or choose not to take a card, you'll recall your entire party, including grunts, and gain 2 gear tokens instead. In this situation, at the garrison, the yellow player would get to go first. They would get to select whichever of the current cards are face up that they want to take. Maybe they want to take this one. Then afterwards, the pink player will go, doing the same thing. Finally, the teal player will go, doing the same thing. Now, if you have more players, because this could also be a situation. So if we're resolving it like this, yellow's actually going to get to take 2 cards, then pink will take a card, and then unfortunately teal gets nothing. And that's when they actually get to gain the gear tokens instead. After a location resolves, all grunts are discarded. So that's what I meant by they don't really stick around. So you're just going to throw them into the general supply. Experts and crest and dragon companions will return to their owners, except on the mountain, which follows its own special rules. Let's go over the locations just briefly. First, we have the Heroes Guild. In the Heroes Guild, we'll recruit heroes to strengthen your cause. Each hero will provide an ability, usable once a dragon of the same color is attached. So as an example, all of the heroes that are up right now are blue. So let's do this so you can see that there's actually different colors. These ones need a blue dragon attached, whereas this one would need a green dragon attached. Currently we have Master Ranger, Merchant, and Master Scout. There are lots and lots of different heroes in this deck, which I didn't shuffle very well. Once attached, a dragon cannot be detached or reassigned. So just as an example, if you see here, make sure that you can see, this dragon could be attached to the Master Scout because it's a blue dragon, and once attached, it can't be detached or, once again, reassigned. Then we have the Tavern. Claim a Tavern card to recruit grunts and experts, and it will also allow you to adjust your flame as shown on the card. So as an example with this card, whoa, we'll throw it, you will gain 3 grunts and 1 warden and move your flame token 1 spot to the left. After a tavern card is used, it's immediately just discarded. Then we have the Poacher's Camp up here at the top. This is where you're going to free captive dragons, including exotic ones, from the poachers. These weaker dragons can be attached immediately or later to a hero or preserve. Exotic dragons act as wild, so you'll see this one here. So colorful, they have all 3. They're wild. The wild dragon. A wild dragon has appeared. They're going to act as wild though until they're attached, at which point they permanently adopt the color of the card they join. Then we have the Mountain. At the Mountain, you're going to rescue mighty dragons from the 3 levels of the mountain. We have the bottom level where you'll claim dragons and discard grunts. Wardens remain and advance upwards. We have a warden track here. Then we have the middle level, level 2, where you claim dragons, then discard additional wardens as required. So you'll see that printed on the board. Then we have the top level, level 3, where 1 final dragon can be claimed along with an attribute boost, but at the cost of discarding wardens and raising your flame. Once again, everything written right here on the board for you. Dragons rescued from the mountain may immediately be attached to heroes or preserves. I've said preserves a couple of times, so why don't we just move on to the preserve section? Good idea. In this section, you can claim a preserve card to create a sanctuary for your dragons. Attaching a dragon of the same color advances its attribute track by 2 steps. That's what these little symbols mean. Each preserve can only hold 1 dragon, and attachments are permanent. Finally, we have the garrison, and in the garrison, we're going to launch counterattacks against the poachers by claiming a garrison card. The requirements to complete these will vary, but they often demand a mix of dragons, heroes, or hirelings. Once completed, a garrison card gives you glory and may also advance some attributes. So, as an example, and I will mention, these you'll notice are off to the side, we're always going to have a blue, a red, and a green, and we're always going to start with the lowest number, and then each round, as they get claimed, we'll be putting in higher and higher numbers. So, as an example with this card, it's saying you need to have 1 blue dragon and 1 hero, and if you have those, you have completed it, you'd gain 3 glory, and you would increase your blue attribute. After all common locations are resolved, grunts are discarded, experts and companions are returned, and the game proceeds to the raid phase. The offers at each location are not refilled until the reset phase, so just hold off before you put any new cards out. Alrighty, on to the raid phase. The poachers won't stand idly by as the king's champions rescue dragons. After the reward phase, they strike back with a raid, forcing players to sacrifice manpower to repair the damage. Alright, here's how the raid is going to work. First off, one of these 2 cards is actually going to be blocked off. That's going to happen when the aid tokens are taken. So the first thing you're going to do is look at the remaining raid card on the main board. In this case, it would be this one right here. We'll get rid of the other one. Each player must discard the exact type and number of hirelings shown on that card. This one is saying 1 of any expert and a hero. If you have the required hirelings, you must discard them. If you do not have enough, for each missing hireling, you must increase your flame by 1. There's no way to ignore or delay the raid. Every player is affected equally. Raids gradually wear down your workforce, making it harder to form large parties in later rounds, so choosing when to prune, recruit, and manage hirelings effectively is essential to withstanding these raids. High flame from failing to meet raid demands can come back to haunt you at the end of the game, reducing your final glory, and nobody wants that. Everybody wants all of the glory, especially me. At the end of the raid phase, all discarded hirelings are removed from play and the game proceeds to the reset phase. And you'll never guess it, but the reset phase is where we reset the board. At the end of each round, the game board is refreshed to prepare for the next cycle of play. So what you're first going to do is discard the remaining cards. Remove all unclaimed cards from the common locations. So if you didn't take it before, it's not going to be available in the next round. This is all with exception of the garrison. You'll keep any unclaimed cards at the garrison and these will remain for future rounds, so that's why some of them can have different levels, because maybe people are just really wanting to grab all the red cards because they can complete them. It's all going to depend on how the game goes. Then you'll refill the common locations from left to right, deal new cards to each empty common location slot from their corresponding decks. At the garrison, you'll refill only the empty slots. Then you're going to pass the first player marker. The player holding the leader aid token, which is this red one here, is going to be the first player. Then you'll return the aid tokens. Refresh the raid cards, which you'll discard the one that just happened, and then place 2 new face up in the area. Then finally advance the round marker and start the next round. I do want to note that the flame track is never reset. Don't reset it. Your flame marker remains where it is throughout the game, carrying the weight of your past choices into the rounds ahead. So make good choices. After the 5th raid phase is resolved, we will skip the reset phase and proceed directly to end of game scoring, where players will calculate their final glory in the following order. First off, we're going to look at our dragons. Score the glory value of each dragon card you own, whether or not they are attached to a hero or preserve. Once again, I kind of briefly mentioned it before, but the number that is in the yellow symbol at the top left-hand corner of the card is the glory value. So you're going to score for any dragons that you have. Then we're going to look to our attributes. Score the highest unlocked glory value on each of your attribute tracks. So you'll see printed right here, there's going to be different glory points. And if you're able to make it all the way to the top, that's 12 glory points. That's pretty great. Glory values on a single track do not accumulate, just FYI, so it's not like 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus 12. It's only the highest. Then we're going to look at our heroes. Score the glory value of each hero card you recruited, but only if a dragon of the matching color is attached to that hero, like so, and the hero's scoring condition is met. Let me just read you one so you have an idea of what that looks like. So for the merchant, for each of your heroes up to a maximum of 10, you'll score 2 points. So you're going to want a lot of heroes with that merchant because he wants to sell a lot of stuff. This makes perfect sense to me. Then we're going to score for our garrison cards. You'll score the glory value of each completed garrison card. And remember, to complete them, you have to be able to fulfill what's on the bottom. Next, we're going to look at flame. Finally, we're gonna look at that flame. Score based on your flame track. First, you may discard gear tokens to reduce your flame by 1 for every 3 gear tokens you discard at this time. The player with the highest flame furthest to the right on the track will gain no bonus. No bueno, no bonus. Let's do something like this. So pink, no bonus. All other players will gain bonus glory based on the number of steps between their markers and the highest marker as shown on the flame track on the main board. So you can see the track is right there with all of those numbers that you can calculate. Managing flame well throughout the game can make a huge difference in your final score, so don't ignore it. Don't let the fire run away. Nobody wants that. The player with the most final glory is declared the winner and becomes the next Dragon Ambassador of Emberheart. And in case of a tie, the tied player with the most dragon cards will win, and if you're still tied, victory is shared. So that, my friends, is Emberheart. Now your question might be, who is Emberheart for? Emberheart is perfect for players who love worker placement with a twist, meaningful resource management, and escalating tension. This game has a thematic dragon rescue core that makes every turn feel heroic. I mean, who doesn't love dragons? I personally freaking love dragons. They're awesome. So if you're into the theme and if you're into the beautiful art, why not? It plays great between 2 and 4 players, and I will mention that there is a 2-player mode variant, which will include some additional cards to make it a little bit more interactive for 2 players and have a little bit more competition on the board for the tracks. It offers constant interaction, contested spaces, multiple strategies to victory. For groups who love a balance of competition, combo building, and theme-driven gameplay, Emberheart is a fiery, unforgettable experience that could be for you. So my friends, with all of that being said, if Emberheart sounds like it could be a good game for you, all of the information you need is going to be linked in the description below, which will lead you to the pre-order page for Emberheart. Definitely check it out, watch lots of videos, read reviews, do all of the stuff to make sure that this is a good fit for you. If you're interested in buying board games like other games from Mind Clash, you should first start by checking out your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that's the Boardroom Game Cafe. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I hope to see you again soon. And now I say goodbye. Goodbye. So every player is going to get, well, we're going to throw that across the board. Why not? An attribute butte claimed along with an attribute butte.